And the angles on the sides are congruent. I don't think it's a hat day anymore, Joe. So, I have to prove, one, that, let's say, angle A is congruent to angle, what? D, would you guys say? That angle, so that's one thing. Angle B is congruent to angle what? It has to be in the other triangle. I would say the short side. So A to B would be like D to what?
F.
So angle F. Sometimes when you're looking at these, you're trying to figure out what has to correspond. You have to kind of do it like that. Now, and then we need to prove that angle C is congruent to angle what? E. On the sides, number 4, segment AB congruent to segment what? I did A to B, so that would be what? D to F. Or segment B to C has to be congruent, so I did A to B, D to F. B to C, B to C, F to E. And then I have to prove that A to C, segment A to C, is congruent to segment what? D to E. So how many things? Because you don't know any shortcuts. We haven't taught you any yet. But looking at that, knowing that all the angles have to add to 180 and things like that, wouldn't it make sense that there probably is an easier way to do it? Would you guys agree? There's probably a combination that if these were true, the two triangles would have to be congruent. And there is. The first one. Our shortcut, we'll call it shortcut 1. SSS, which is an acronym for side, side, side. It basically says if all three we're going to say all three sets of corresponding angles, or I'm sorry, sides are congruent, then the two triangles have to be congruent also. What I have found on this over the years of teaching this and taking it is that the words sound more complicated than the visual representation of it is. And what I mean by that is I've got two triangles here, correct? I guess I kind of drew them incorrectly. Thought I traced them correctly, but, oh well. Here's the deal. What do you think this means? What are the corresponding sides? That would be AB and what? DE, correct? So that's a set of corresponding sides that are congruent. One of how many? AC would need to be congruent to what? DF. BC would need to be congruent to what? That is what side, side, side looks like in a picture. And doesn't the picture kind of make more sense? You've got, you know, side, side, and a what? You got three S's, what? Congruent. Side, side, side. So when looking at those pictures, that's pretty easy, isn't it? So you guys think you can recognize side, side, side congruence? Okay. Well, shortcut number 2. SAS. It's acronym for side. And what do you think the A means? Angle, side. Now, the location of the A is important here. It won't be until we talk about what doesn't work, or when we do the next section, it'll kind of, but you have to understand the words here. It's not just any two sides in an angle. So if two sets of corresponding sides are congruent and the angles included by those sides are congruent, then the two triangles are congruent. Key word here, included. It's two sides and the included angle. And the included angle changes when your two sides change that are congruent. I want everybody to get this written down before we start talking about it, because it's something visually that you need to see. And I'm going to zoom in a little more so we can focus in on this picture a little better. I sure hope we're not doing homework right now, because if we are, I will throw it away. Please put it up. Patrick, same to you. Make sure your homework is put up from yesterday. Now, all eyes up here. Let's say AB was congruent to ED and BC was congruent to EF. you have to look at the two sides that are congruent before you can decide which angle is the included angle. You can think of occluded as meaning in between. What is the angle in between these two sides? What's the angle in between these two sides that are congruent? That is the included angle. Now, another way to think of it, everyone look up here, if you're trying to figure out whether it's the included angle or not. If I was to draw put my red pen over here and draw the two sides that are congruent, watch me do that. I draw this side, then I draw what? This side. What did I draw? What did I go over? A what with my pen? When I did this, what did I basically draw? Huh? I drew an angle, didn't I? What angle did I draw? Angle B. Did I not? When I drew the two congruent sides, or two sides that are congruent to these other two, I drew an angle, didn't I? You'll always draw the included angle. Watch here. As I highlight the two sides, what angle did I draw? Angle what? Which is the included angle. So basically, the included angle is the angle made by the two sides that are congruent in each triangle. Does that make sense? Everyone always gets a kick out of this. So you know why the A is in between the two S's? Because it's the what? Included what? Angle. When we start, there are certain combinations you can have with these three letters, is there not? Believe it or not, the only two that don't work are angle, 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 and angle, side, side. Okay? Here's how you can remember this on ones, because if it's the non-included angle, it doesn't work. Now, Braden, wake up. Here's how you can remember which ones that don't work. If you have 3 A's, is that usually a good thing in life? You have 3 A's, right? The classes, right? Okay, that one doesn't work. And the one that makes a cuss word doesn't work. Angle, side, side. I didn't say cuss word, I said angle, side, side. And I am videoing this. So the one that makes a cuss word and the one that should be a good thing don't work. Okay? And tomorrow, or when we do 4 or 5, we'll be talking about angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. Those do work. Those are good. These are no. What do you think the difference between these two is? What do you think that side is with relationship to the angles? It's the included side, the one in between. What do you think the side is here? The side that's what? Non-included. Okay? These will be your 4 shortcuts. But for this section, we're only dealing with these 2. But if you do get a situation that is the cuss word, which is angle, side, side, it doesn't work. If it's the non-included angle, it does not work. Okay? Of course, I could call it SSA, but you guys wouldn't pay attention nearly as well if I said side, side, angle. I say angle, side, side, all of a sudden everybody remembers. Because it makes a cuss word. Any questions on that? get out that worksheet and let's do a couple problems. Number 1 says, state if the triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. Number 1, are these two congruent? Why? Huh? You have to know why. How do you know the angles are congruent? Remember, what can we know? You can't go by what it looks like. You have to go by what's given to you. So far, I have an S and an S. How many S's do I have? 2. How many do I need? 3. Is there a way to assume that the third side is congruent? What is this thing called? And I told you guys that that's the one thing you can look at it, and know it's congruent to itself, is it not? So, is this congruent? Are these two? By what? Side, side, side. I'll let you in a little secret. Your answers are going to be either side, angle, side, or what? Number 2, are these two, do we have enough information? I'm not asking if, they're not asking if it looks like they're congruent. Let me state that most importantly. You have to look at it, and do you have enough information given to you or that you can infer from the picture? So far, what's given to you? 2 S's, right? That's not enough. How many things do I need? Is there a way to look at this picture and get a third thing?
Yeah, vertical angles.
I have 2 lines intersecting. What do I know about the opposite angles? They have to be what? So I have a side, an angle, and a what? Side. Do I have the correct angle? Do I have the included angle for it to be side, 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 angle, side? Did I make the angle? Okay, I'll draw these two. Did I make the angle? So the answer is yes, they are congruent by what? Side, angle, side. Let's look at number 7. How many things do I know about this to be true? 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. How many? 3. Come on, can you guys not look at that and see that we have 3 things? Wake up. This is congruent to this, right? So I've got what? 2 sides, and this is a what? Do I have the correct angle? If I draw the 2 sides congruent here, do I draw the angle that's congruent? I don't, do I? It's outside. So this is the one, this is angle side side, isn't it? So even if it works out on this one, it doesn't matter. Are these 2 congruent? No. There's not enough information. They may very well be once you measure it out. But by the information that's given to me, do I have enough to say for sure that they're congruent? No. This could be half of a millimeter less this side. Pulling everything off. Right here. They want to know, let's look at number 21. They want to know what other information do I need to prove that these 2 are congruent by what? So how much has been given to me? Just a what? 1 S, right? Is there anything else I can look at this picture and know? What about an angle? Which ones? The ones here on I, what are they? But what are they, why are they congruent? What's it called? They are vertical angles. Anytime 2 lines intersect, the opposite angles are congruent here. So I have that. So what other information is needed to prove? These are, what am I missing? I've got a side, I've got a what? What do I need?
VI and IJ.
I need the other what?
Size.
I need this right here. So all you've got to do is look at this. And they wanted you to now write a congruency statement for what you need to prove these two are congruent. Well, I need what? This to be congruent to this, so it's the what? Included angle, correct? So my statement would be that VI, segment VI, needs to be congruent to what? Huh? Or IJ, it doesn't matter, yes. That is your answer. That's the other information needed, is it not? I expect you guys to label these, to write a proper congruency statement with the segment line above it. If you don't have it above it, it will be wrong. If you have to name an angle, you better name the whole angle in some of these situations where you need to. You can't say angle Y on something like this. You could say angle T and you could say angle X, but you can't say angle X and be talking about this angle, can you?
No.
This one has a common side, doesn't it? So I need side angle side. I need one more side. Which one? Nope. See, if I did this one, it would be, this wouldn't be the included angle. You can think of it like this. When it's the included angle, whatever is, what's the other side that makes this angle that's congruent right here? This one right here. So that has to be congruent too. What's the other side that makes this angle right here? Huh? Right, because that's the other leg of that angle, isn't it? So now you got both legs of the angles congruent, so you got side angle side. So you need to say that what? Segment what? Has to be congruent to segment what? I'm being nice to you and giving you an assignment on a worksheet. I want it, you speaking in geometry language. Okay? However, get your handy dandy little red books out. One other thing you're going to have to do is you have 4 proofs to do. All proofs need to be done as 2-column proofs. Let's look at page 50. Let's look at number 3 here. We are going to write a proof for this. First things first, I'm going to write down the given. It's given to us that RS is congruent to TS. It's also given to us that V is the midpoint of RT. What does that tell me? V being the midpoint of RT. What does that lead me to here that I can write number 2?
RV and VT are congruent.
Segment RV is congruent to segment VT. So this is congruent to what? Why is that true? Definition of a midpoint. Okay, what are we trying to prove here? That RSV, that this triangle here is congruent to this triangle here. I have 2 options. What are my 2 options? to use. What are my two shortcuts I learned today, people? Side, 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 or what? All you are doing right here on this proof is exactly what we did on that worksheet. You're just writing down what you thought. For instance, the first one we did. You were given two sides being congruent, were you not? Why aren't eyes all up here? Right? Would everyone agree? What did you have to come up with on your own? That this was a what? And once you did that, you could say what? Yes, the triangles are congruent by. Okay. Only step we added here is that you had to say that this was congruent to this because V was the what? But now I've got two. And how is this situation the same? What is VS? A what? So isn't it the exact same thing? You just have to write it down and say that what? VS is congruent to what? VS. Why? Because it's a common, I know it's the reflexive property too, but I want you to write common side. Now, have I stated a side? I have side right here, right? I've stated a congruency statement for that side, and I've stated a congruency statement for the third side. So what can I now say? The two triangles are what? By what? So now I'm to my proof. Triangle RSV is congruent to triangle what? TSV. Why? Side, side, side. Make sure and write that down so you have something to go off of. I'll zoom out a little more so I have room to write your assignment. Your assignment is worksheet 4.4. You need to show all steps and works by marking your stuff. From the book, you have numbers. Let me get Canvas out and make sure I write it down correctly. There it is. Today's the 27th. As you can see, there's a PDF copy of the worksheet if you were to lose it where you could print it out. I do expect it to be printed out. I do not expect you to write the answers on a separate sheet of paper and say you did it. We'll do from the books, our proofs will be numbers 5, 15, 24, and 25. You will only have 4 proofs to do today. For the next section, you will have 6 proofs, though. And they all need to be 2-column. No matter what the book says, they need to be done as 2-column proofs. Due tomorrow, the end of the hour. It's all right up there.